So now that we had a first look at what Python is and what the blockchain is, and that we installed Python and wrote our first program, let's see what the course as a whole has to offer for you. We're almost done getting started. In the next module, we'll dive into the core base syntax of Python. And regarding our blockchain, we'll start building a simple chain, a simple list of coins. For now, a coin will just be an amount, just a number, but it will be a great start. Thereafter, we'll dive into loops and conditionals, useful constructs that allow us to execute code either multiple times or only under certain conditions. Regarding our blockchain, we'll be able to then verify our blockchain and check if the previous block is still the block it was when we added its next block. So this connection between blocks, we can start verifying it here. Thereafter, we'll start working with more complex data structures because thus far we'll only have had a look at numbers, text, true and false, so-called booleans, and lists. Now we'll get into more complex data structures, which will then also allow us to work with real blocks and transactions, which is more than just a number. We'll dive deeper into built-in functions, so functions Python ships with, as well as text, so-called strings, and we'll be able to then calculate and output the balances of the different users of our blockchain. We'll thereafter have a look at the so-called standard library. This is this batteries included approach I was referring to. The many packages Python already has built in. We'll have a look at them and some selected ones in this module, and therefore we'll be able to start creating real hashes and the so-called proof of work, an important blockchain concept. We'll then learn more about reading and writing files, something we already did in our first Python app here at the beginning of this course. But here, of course, we'll dive into it a bit deeper and learn more about what's happening there and how we use it and how we can do different kinds of reads and writes. Regarding our blockchain, we'll finally be able to store and read our blockchain in files and not just in memory. We'll then also have a look at what we can do if things go wrong, how we can handle errors, how we can debug our code and find problems in our code. This will allow us to make our blockchain more robust and more secure, more safe. We'll then also have a look at object-oriented programming with classes. This is super important. It's a cool feature of modern programming languages, and Python has it too, even though Python is actually a bit older, but Python has that too. It allows us to write cleaner code, I'd argue, easier to understand code, and we'll use it on our blockchain to improve it and also to finally add a wallet. This identification data, which will in the end be super important for sending and receiving funds. Once we're done with that, it's time to dive deeper into modules and packages. We'll see how we can install third-party packages and split our code over multiple files. Regarding the blockchain, we'll be able to sign transactions, an important security mechanism. And then we're already nearing the end of this course, but we already learned a lot about the basics. But we won't finish the course before also diving a bit into HTTP and how we can handle incoming HTTP requests with Python and the Flask package. For our blockchain, this will mean that we can control our blockchain with a nice web UI and therefore leave that terminal-based UI we will have used until then. And thereafter, we'll also have a look at how we can not just receive requests with Python, but also how we can send them and therefore how we can communicate between different Python programs. We'll also use that on our blockchain to simulate multiple so-called nodes, so servers running on different machines, which now can communicate with each other to broadcast new transactions, blocks, and all that stuff. And thereafter, we're done. But of course, I'll also let you know what possible next steps are, where and how you can dive deeper, and what you have learned in this course. So a lot of cool content in there. It covers all the basics you need to know about Python, and I can't wait to dive fully into it with you. Just a couple of other things about Python which you should know before we do get started.